If human beings only understood that human embodiment upon this earth is an opportunity given the personal self by the great law of balance to correct the mistakes made in previous lives, they would use every experience and extract the lesson from it, instead of rebelling against circumstance and being used by it. This constant return to physical embodiment or garments of flesh would be an endless circle of cause and effect if it were not that man has the presence of God within him. This part of you which says, I am, is the life, the intelligence, and the power that moves through your physical body. When the discordant habits of the atomic consciousness of your physical body build to such a momentum that the light of the mighty I Am Presence is no longer allowed to expand, and through that maintain the fulfillment of a constructive plan of life, the master self begins to decrease its supply of energy and eventually withdraws. There is only one thing that ever causes what the world calls death, and that is the lack of enough liquid light within the nerve channels. It radiates the cohesive power which holds the atoms together that make up the flesh body. This liquid light is owned by and comes only from the mighty I Am Presence of the universe. The outer garment is the receptacle into which this presence pours its light for a constructive purpose and use only. When that purpose is continually interfered with, the light is withdrawn, and the flesh body, which should be the temple of the Most High living God, disintegrates. The experience called death is a constant reproof to mankind and a reminder to the personal self of its disobedience to the original God plan, the divine way of life. If the student really wants to know the truth about re-embodiment and life, he must go to the source of life, the mighty I Am Presence, and study there, for only as he receives wisdom from his all-knowing mind will he ever be its light. We may have mental concepts and ideas by the thousands, but unless we have become one with a thing through feeling it, we never really know. To gather facts from the world of sense and form, or the outer activity of the mind, is but accretion. Eternal truth, law, and intelligence come only from the mighty I Am Presence, the light of the universe. If one desires to prove to himself the truth of re-embodiment, that proof can only come from his own actual experiences revealed to him by his own God-self. No amount of argument or phenomena will ever be proof to anyone. To the one who wishes to have this proof, I give the following, and it is infallible, for the ascended masters have attained their perfection of the ascended state by its use, and others may do likewise if they so choose. If the student with unyielding determination will acknowledge and accept his mighty I Am Presence, call to it constantly and sincerely reach up to it, love it and be grateful for its wondrous life which he is using every moment, waking and sleeping, he will cause his outer consciousness to be so raised that he will know, see, and experience firsthand the answer to every question and every problem confronting him. The greatest and most important activity of life is love, devotion, and gratitude to life for all life gives us. As our outer consciousness becomes lifted by being held in constant adoration upon the mighty I Am Presence and continual acknowledgement given only to the perfection of life, all human habits and miscreations disappear, and we express only light. This is the ascended master consciousness. The outer activity of the mind and physical body becomes the visible, tangible form of whatever we think and feel. Man becomes that upon which his attention rests. If he meditate upon the mighty I Am Presence, he will become the full outpouring of that perfection. And if he spend his time and energy through his attention upon the appetites of the physical body, trying to satisfy their insatiable demands, he destroys his temple. No man may say him nay, no matter what his choice. The responsibility of his choice is unescapable, for it is inherent within free will. The paramount command of the Eternal is, "Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." For life will return you, the individual consciousness, again, and again, into human embodiment until you fulfill that supreme edict of life. When that decree is obeyed, we shall find the manifestations of the constructive way of life have become immortal. The cosmic activity and light from our earth is being expanded at this time. Many feel this greatly increased energy, and unless it is used in a constructive way, the individual qualifies it with his own feelings of irritation and resentment against persons, places, and conditions. This but creates greater turmoil in his own mind and body, which constantly disturbs himself and others. During the present expansion of the light throughout the earth, it is absolutely imperative for the individual to keep an iron control over his own thought, feeling, and spoken word, compelling them to be constructive and giving recognition to nothing else, if he is to avoid continual distress and countless loss to himself and his world. At no time in the history of the planet has this been so important as it is at the present moment. The earth is passing through the throes of a tremendous new birth, and in the few years just ahead will be in a transition period, for it is changing now in a cosmic way from the attitude of war into that of peace, from hatred to love, from selfishness to unselfishness, and into the full recognition that in the future the people must exert strength enough to live according to the law of love. The hour strikes in the evolution of every planet and its humanity, when they must express the full peace, harmony, perfection, and the divine plan of the system to which they belong. When that hour strikes, humanity either moves forward and fulfills that plan, or whatever portion will not come into alignment with the new activity removes itself to another schoolroom of the universe, until those personalities learn obedience to life. The law of life is heaven, peace, harmony, and love to every created thing. Even the ethers of infinite space express this harmony everywhere. Human beings are the only creators of hell. They can accept and obey the law of life and enjoy every good thing of the kingdom, or they can disobey that law and be broken as a reed before the storm by their own self-generated discord. Each individual carries his own heaven or hell with him every moment, for these are but the results of mental and emotional states which the individual has created because of his own attitude. There is no other cause for them. Over the humanly generated chaos of the past, there are being poured out by the ascended masters and great cosmic messengers great streams of love and harmony upon which peace depends. Mankind, having so long pulled against the great cosmic current of love which ever seeks to bless, is now being compelled to turn around and seek the light in order to survive in the midst of its own destructive emanations of the past. The constant command of the ascended masters is, let the great light of the mighty I Am Presence enfold the humanity of earth quickly, that its sufferings may cease. Misery, darkness, and ignorance exist only because of lack of love.